Fire Chief, Mr. Newsom, I have a question for him. So it was brought up a couple times about fire access in and out of the Santa Fe Hills area. And I don't want to get you politically involved at all. That's not my intention. I just wanted to know, from a safety standpoint, would Las Posas Road extending to Buena Creek increase the safety or fire response and or safety for that particular area?
Well, I think clearly, as a fire chief and as a fire department, we're always looking for ways to more expeditiously move people in a major emergency such as a wildland fire. So the more roads that we have that we can evacuate people and get them out efficiently, then certainly that is something that we would support and want to see if possible.
And how about, is Santa Fe Hills, my understanding, is the backup station for that is Vista Station number 2?
Typically, a response that would happen in Santa Fe Hills, a structure fire or wildland response, would typically pull Vista Station 2 or 4 as an automatic aid unit to the response.
Would either of those stations be able to access Santa Fe Hills more rapidly if Las Posas was connected to Buena Creek Road?
If Las Posas was connected to Buena Creek, we could more efficiently respond to the Buena Creek area. Periodically, we look at response times. We would probably save, on average, about 2 minutes into the Buena Creek, Robin Hood
save
area.
about 2 minutes if that road was in there.
Correct. And also, from Vista's perspective, on an automatic aid response, their Station 2 probably wouldn't change the response time because they're coming down Buena Creek as it is anyway.
So right now, if Vista Station 2 is called, they have to come down South Santa Fe Road to Mission to Las Posas to get there. You're saying they'd save about 2 minutes if Buena Creek Road was
open? No, Santa Fe Hills, one of two scenarios will happen. From an automatic aid perspective,
an automatic aid means they respond.
They will typically respond into Santa Fe Hills automatic aid, one engine. It'll either be their Station 2 or their Station 4. If it's their Station 4, they're coming out of the Shadow Ridge neighborhood. If it is their Station 2, it is in the Foothill neighborhood. Typically, that would be a longer response for them to go to Santa Fe Hills.
And that's a closer station, Station 2 is?
Station 4 is actually the closer station to Santa Fe Hills because it is faster coming up the 78 to get there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I guess it's time for comments now, if you want to speak. Mike, want to start?
Sure. I feel somewhat guilty here tonight, and that's because when I ran 4 years ago, my key priority was traffic. I think Mr. Desmond said the same thing. We always run traffic, traffic, traffic. And I really thought I could make a difference. But what I found, unfortunately, is that I ran into something called Sandag. And I remember the guy from Chicago talking, we should all get together. Well, they've all gotten together, and what they've decided is not to build freeways. And that's really the problem here, is we didn't build enough freeways because people don't want to drive down Twin Oaks Valley Road when they can drive on a freeway that's moving. But 20 odd years ago, Sandag decided not to build freeways, not to widen freeways. They're finally getting around to some things, but I think everybody knows the saga of 76 and whether it's going to get built or not and all these other things. And that's where the real solution is. I don't know if you heard a little earlier the saga of 680. There was supposed to be another freeway that was going to be between 5 and 15, and people got together and said that wasn't a good idea, so they killed it, and up came this parkway plan that Las Posas is part of, which is instead of having people go through communities on a freeway, they thought it would be a better idea to have people go through communities on Twin Oaks, Las Posas, etc. So I feel guilty that I wasn't able to make a bigger difference, but I ran into this Sandag thing, this community, all the cities get together, if you're not familiar with Sandag, and they talk about how they're going to solve traffic. And traffic has gotten worse for 20 odd years. And folks, it's not going to get better because they don't want to do the things that they should do to make traffic better. We're going to build a Sprinter, as the guy said, and the day after we build it, traffic will still be the same on 78. I guarantee you that. It made somebody feel good. We spent a lot of money we could have used to widen 78. If you've ever been on 78 and go to the 5 and you see that situation where you got to stop to get on to 5, that is amazing. That is amazing that we haven't fixed that yet, but that's Sandag. That is their priorities. So I feel bad for that. We wouldn't all be here. We wouldn't all be divisive about Las Posas. But let's move on to some other issues here. I feel bad because, as Nina pointed out and several others, a neighborhood came to us and asked us for help. I learned my lesson from Walmart. The Walmart people, they came here and they said, we want your help, and we said, well, we want to do something good for the entire city, so we went against what they wanted, and they went out and got the rest of the city to support them. They passed their ballot, and guess what? They were right, we were wrong. So here another neighborhood comes in and says, we want your help, we're being wronged, and we stand up, at least the mayor and I said, let's take a look at this, let's look at a traffic study, let's reconsider this. But apparently we're wrong this time too, because people are saying we should be more regional, more global in our considerations. So, can't win. And the other amazing thing here is that February 28th, we had a meeting, and the council was adamant. They didn't want a traffic study. We're going to wait for the county board to decide what to do. Magically, we get a traffic analysis. I don't remember voting on it. I don't know if the council majority said, behind closed doors, get us a traffic study so we can get them off our backs and move down the road. I have no clue, but magically we have a traffic study. I don't know how good it is. It's considered a traffic analysis. But I don't dispute the fact that probably if you put a road through at Las Posas, that would relieve traffic somewhere else. Sure, you can put roads through anywhere and it'll relieve traffic. But I don't know that it's the final solution. So what do you do? What should you do now? Because it looks like, unfortunately, the council majority has going to have staff that they've already gone to the county staff, and they've changed that recommendation. I don't know what the county board of supervisors is going to do, but if I had a guess, I'm going to guess that they're going to say that Las Posas should be 2 lanes. So there you go. Now, as Mr. Martin has said, maybe we don't have to worry about it because it'll be 20 or 30 years. But if Mr. Desmond has his way, he'll be working with Mr. Horn to have it sooner than later. So I don't know where you are, folks. We tried to help. I don't know if you want to put it on a ballot, and as you heard the lawyer say, that you could put it on a ballot and get around this, all this stuff, but it looks like the rest of the city doesn't want to support you on that. So you're really, I don't know what to tell you. I feel frustrated that usually when a neighborhood comes to us, we'd listen to them and we'd want to at least pay attention to their needs and try and look at the solution, but this has kind of been rammed down your throat, whether you like it or not, and I apologize for that.
Okay, anybody else?
Boy, sure, that's a tough one.
Hal?
A few things, just comments that things that I heard tonight.